It's a Wales through a goal. Slots it beyond Fodringer. And the Millers are in front in the South Yorkshire derby. And for the first time in 42 years, Rotherham United win at Bramall Lane. On the edge of the box, Adoffin. He can hit them. And he does. Adoffin! Has scored an absolute screamer for Rotherham United. Rotherham United have secured their championship status for next season.
Do me a favour, drop me off in Rotherham.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to New York Talk, the final episode of 2023. And we end with a draw. A good draw, a good performance, but sadly only a point. We will go through that and we'll look ahead. We've obviously got Blackburn Rovers on New Year's Day, which we'll preview as well between now and whenever we finish, in an hour's time or so. We have Danny Bitt with us. How you doing, Danny, mate?
I'm doing all right. How are we all?
Good stuff. Thank you very much. And Tom was back with us, mate. First time you've been with us is Christmas. How was your Christmas, mate?
Yeah, it was good. Had my birthday in between as well, so that was nice. Just relaxing. And it's always nice to come away with 3 points,
Yes.
albeit not yesterday, but Boxing Day was fun.
It was, very much so. We'll start with the Sunderland game. That was Friday night. Tough one to take, Danny. We'll come on to the specifics of the goals and the incidents and everything else in a minute, but we were really good. We were the better team for me. We were the most threatening team. I thought we defended well. I thought we were valued for 3 points, to be honest with you. I feel 24 hours on, I still feel harshly done by.
Yeah, I agree, actually. I mean, I've checked back the post-match reaction, and there's actually a few Sunderland fans in the comments that said they were poor. So thank you for your honesty and no big-headedness with it being a big team. But yeah, we just felt different against Sunderland. I mean, I know we've said it before where we've given, teams that you expect to do well in this league a good game. But the Sunderland game, like Mick said on the post-match, it was almost felt like a loss because we had chances to win the game and they scored via a goal that was just a gut-punching one. So yeah, now that I've had a chance to sleep on it, it's just a bit of it could end up being the one that got away this season.
Yeah, it could. It potentially could. Just briefly on Sunderland, Tom, we were talking before we started recording, and they're sixth, or they were sixth before the game yesterday. And it feels like, and I'm sure they've got other good players, but it felt like it was, right, I don't know what to do with this ball, so here you go, Jack Clark, please do something. And it was just a really odd performance from them, I thought. Really odd. Yeah,
it was the most one-person sided game I've ever seen. It was almost as if Clark didn't have a good game, they wouldn't have had. And by all means, he didn't have a brilliant game. I thought Dexter marked him reasonably well. I thought we doubled up on him reasonably well. But having said that, it was a ridiculous one-man performance, which I don't know. Surely that's not their whole season been like that. Maybe they probably just had an off day, new manager and whatnot. But yeah, I can't remember the last time I saw such a one-man performance since Jack Grealish for Villa.
Yeah, that's a good shout, actually. So like Jack's at New York Stadium. We should sign a Jack. That's what we've learned from this. In the comments, Harvey Kelly, Kim Hayward, Jamie, and Scott Kent are all with us on the last episode before the year. Let's go into the specifics, Danny. And the surprise came with the starting 11. It was, I think, if I remember was right, it was unchanged except for one, and that was Ollie Rathbone coming out and Sam Klukas coming in. Now, I thought Sam Klukas had made a good few in the cameos he's come on. I thought he'd done quite well, but we're all shocked to see Ollie drop out. We now know it's not long term; it's just a sickness bug, and hopefully he'll be back for New Year's Day, all being well. But how did you? I felt that was a massive blow. I know Ollie's been off a little bit off it, but I just thought I'm not sure Klukas was up for this in terms of match fitness.
Yeah, that one sort of took me by surprise as well. But a few people said to me after the game, after that Klukas performance, he might actually keep Ollie out the side because he put in a proper graft. But at the same time, even though it is due to sickness and I hope Rathbone gets better soon, like maybe he needed it in a weird way. He needed that time just to himself, just to refresh a little bit and, potentially not do everything a million miles an hour. Because maybe that's why he was completely took out of the 18 with the sickness because I'm sure doing everything a million miles an hour, your immune system gets affected as well.
Yeah.
So hopefully it's rest and recovery for him. But when I first saw the starting 11, it was like, ooh, interesting. Like you say, it's not anything long term, but when they're completely out of the match day 18, it's like, oh God, what's happened?
Yeah. We all panicked, didn't we, as a collective.
It's like as he kicked a molehill and broke his ankle at Roundwood or something, like what's happened? But Lucas came in, did the job amazingly. And I think showed we have quite a good depth in midfield now, and has potentially shown Richardson where the depth areas are in January as well. Because I personally would say stay away from midfield and go towards defence. But yeah,
I'd agree with those comments. I think Rathbone struggles to get back into that 11 now. I really do. I think Lucas adds a lot more quality on the ball, which we need. Maybe his graft isn't quite there, as in off the ball graft, but I think we make up for that with Thierry and Lindsay. That the on the ball stuff, I think we need those set piece deliveries, the kind of composure in the middle. Like you're saying, Ollie does everything a million miles an hour, and we don't need that at the minute. Sometimes you do, games you do, and he will suit certain games, but at the minute he doesn't. It's a toss up between him and Lindsay at the minute, because I can't see you dropping Lucas other than fitness reasons.
Yeah, I was surprised in Lucas' performance, Tom, because, and this is maybe naivety on my side, I thought Lucas was just a bit of a kicker, just a bit of a he'd break up play, he'll kick the opposition, win the ball back. But I just saw so much of his game last night. That every set piece he put in was brilliant. We'll talk about the goal in a minute.
Yeah.
But everything he did was just on point. It was technically brilliant. Yeah. Everything. I was surprised he led to his game, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no, likewise. I thought he was a grafter when he came to the club and kind of a get it and move it kind of player. But I guess when you are a Premier League player playing in a Premier League surrounding, he's not going to be the one to take corners. He's not going to be the one to take free kicks, etc. So you can kind of think that he's a grafter at that level. But once he steps down a level and we are bottom of the Championship, when he's at a club of our technical ability, he will thrive and he'll be one of the best technical players. And it just goes to show that he is. I mean, I've got to say as well, when Caf came on, I thought he looked neat. I don't think he has as much of an impact as we quite would have hoped yet. But that's still match fitness, that's still match sharpness. But he looked good on the ball again. I'm going to say back to his usual self, but I don't think we ever actually saw his usual self. So it's exciting with them two in the midfield. We've definitely got a lot more quality on the ball there. And that's not to dig anyone else out, but they are clearly good players on the ball.
I agree. Talk about the goal, Danny. Mick described it yesterday as just pure technique from Sam Clucas, and you can't really argue with that. It's just the ball set up, and in our heads, we've all done that. Imagine in our imaginary world, we've all hit balls as sweet as that. But not many people can do it, and that was just a beautiful goal to watch. It's a very aesthetically pleasing goal as well. Yeah,
it was. I mean. I sort of had the perfect angle for it, really, being bang behind the goal. I thought Lemmy Keeser did well to keep hold of it in the first place. Yeah. I didn't really picture Hugel for a crosser of the ball, but apparently he can dig out across. And their defensive clearance initially was, a good defensive clearance. However, I think Clucas read the game perfectly.
Yeah.
In his positioning, and it's sweet of an up on the volley, and I don't even think Victor would have saved it. To be fair, it was perfectly it left everybody stood still like trees, and you saw how happy it made everybody when it went in. And yeah, like Mick said, pure technique. Pure technique. The guy who was sat next to me said that's one of the best goals I've seen this season, and it's like, Lemmy Keeson's might just top it, but he's up there. Hugels, Bramall. We've scored some good ones this season, and
I don't know. You can count Bramall's. I don't know. Come on.
Okay. 3 of the 4 were intentional.
Yeah. We're going to have a good goal. Might go down, but we've scored some belters.
Had some belters scored against us as well.
That's true, actually. Yeah. But on to Lucas, the corners in the first half, Tom, they were proper under the cosh, Sunderland. We could have scored from 3 of those goals. I'm still not sure how one of them didn't go in. When it was just cleared off the line. And their keeper pulled off a worldie as well with a very, very late save. And these have all come from set piece. And that's what we've lacked. When Rathbone's a good player, but his set piece is not his best thing. Bramall's corners aren't great. We've really missed Cafu's set piece and what appears to be Kluka's set piece. And because we've got players who can put that pressure under the opposition, and that looks to be hopefully another threat going forward.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you can see it with Sean Morrison's long throws. Before we had them two back, the issues that we caused a lot of the time were long throws into the box that caused issues. You know, we've got big players. We've got players that really, really know how to put themselves about. And Hugo Ladoffin, Sean Morrison, you know, they know how to put themselves about, not just compete for the ball. And yeah, we really, really missed it. And like you said, Rathbone can do all the dirty work, can do all the unknown stuff where he's putting a lot of pressure on players and this, that, and the other, but he's not quite got the technical ability for the kind of set pieces that we need. I mean, when we started the season with Cafu in midfield and he was putting in some really dangerous stuff, we were a lot more dangerous. And I think we'll really thrive under that. I think as well, when you bring Eves into the mix and Kelly into the mix as well, we look a real handful in the box. Yeah, I can't see, if hopefully this makes sense, I can't see one of Klukas and Cafu not starting every game from now on. Bear in mind fitness, if that makes So
fitness
fitness permitting. One of them two need to start every game now, simply for their set piece deliveries.
Yeah, I think that's fair. John's with us. Good evening. Where is Mick? Mick is in North Wales. Refused to go to a car park this time. So Nick's he's probably watching, John. So if you want to get some grief at comments, John, I'll make sure he sees them. Still griefing. Before we move on to the second half proper, Danny, I just let's finish on the first half in the sense that we were brilliant in that first half. Our second half was much more level game, I thought. Well, the first half, I just thought we had them under the cosh on the set pieces. We talked about on the post match. We didn't let them move too far forward like we did against Middlesbrough. I thought the setup was absolutely on point, completely on point. Nombe and Hugo led from the front. I think they struggled against Borough, but they really did lead from the front, and they look like they're developing a bit of a partnership because Nombe is starting to read the flick-ons and Hugo's starting to understand when the flick-ons need to go to Nombe, which you maybe understand why it takes time, but there is something building with those two. Just add a goal or two each every couple of games and we'll be fine.
Goal or two each.
Goal or two.
Every few games.
Oh, all right.
Not only one. Not going to win 5-0 every week.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I'll say, Mate, I'll let you tell them to make that their New Year's resolution. But I mean, the partnership that Hugo and Nombe are crafting now really makes me think, what was Matt Taylor doing not to start it earlier? You know, because imagine if, like, I know Nombe had to come up to speed in this level for a little bit of time, but you know, just to have put it in practice, like is maybe a later edition in the second half, etc. But it never really transpired, and now we're seeing it, and it's like, oh, actually, it's bearing fruit now. Maybe not goal wise, and that'll take a little bit longer, like a bit more practice on the training pitch. But it's in games we're seeing how well it can actually work. But yeah, that first half, I wouldn't go as far to say we had Sunderland on toast, but they were certainly in the toaster anyway. And but I think the second half we actually played better, but we had to play better because Sunderland played better.
Yeah,
I thought. But we could have scored a couple in the first half. I think the one that Patterson pulled off an absolutely real save to keep out. And there was one where it was a bit of a scramble in the 6-yard box and Sunderland eventually got it away. So that's two strong chances to get a goal in the first half. And I think we're built on it in the second half, but we're just limited by Sunderland, of course, you know, realising that they actually have to play football to compete. And it was... It's one of them games where, and I've said it before on the podcast, it shows what we're capable of. Even with the depleted squad, loads of injuries and illness and everything, even with that, it still shows what we're capable of, and we just needed someone to get the best tune out of the players. And since Richardson's come in and has been able to work with them, bar maybe the Leicester game as the anomaly, like you said on the post-match, Matt, we are starting to see it click a bit better.
Yeah, we absolutely are. John Morrell, not a happy Birmingham fan. Play football. He watched 90 minutes of something last night, and it wasn't called football. Poor Wayne Rooney. Getting grief even with that Birmingham podcast. Moving on to the second half, let's talk about the goal, Tom. The Sunderland goal. It was that was the only way they were going to score. I'll talk about defence in a minute. But it was just a horrible. It ran to the Ipswich goal, Ipswich's second goal. I know it's a different type of goal, but it was just, what could you do? Victor could never have got the way it went in. Victor were never going to get to it unless you knew it was happening. I think it was Lindsay with the deflection. It was just, when your luck's against you, it just felt like that kind of goal. That just, what can you say?
Yeah. I mean, you can probably look at it back and think, well, we could have done better here. But when you total it all together, it's not much that you can actually do in that situation. It's a pot shot from, what was it, 30 yards, maybe less, 25. I don't know. Whatever it was a pot shot, which was what we were limiting them to. And it just took a lucky deflection. It had to be Clark. It really had to be Clark. It couldn't have been anyone else. It really couldn't have been. But in hindsight, when that goal went in, I think Richardson said it as well. We did look like we stepped off the gas a little bit, and we looked like we were defending a 1-0 lead against Leicester in the last 5 minutes rather than just scoring in the second half and kind of just getting into the game. It was something that wasn't coming. You couldn't really see them scoring, but the way that we were defending made it made us feel a lot more pressured and made us look a lot more pressured than we probably would have been if we would have stick to the game plan. I think that comes with confidence. I think we were winning 1-0 and kind of crapped ourselves a little bit, which is bound to happen, but it's about kicking that out of the system now and knowing that they should be winning games like this against playoff contenders. That should give them confidence. But yeah, about the goal, it's just, Victor maybe could have caught it or punched it further, but not really. And then Clark didn't even catch it sweetly, which made it go in. It was one of them where if he would have caught it well, it probably would have flown over. But the fact that he caught it, scruffed on his shin, it went in. And you can't really blame anyone for it. It's just one of those things that happens.
Yeah, that's football. That's just football, isn't it?
Football.
Yeah. And to be fair, I think what is a positive, I think that Tom's right. After we score, we sort of went into a shell a little bit. But I thought after we conceded, we then almost got back on it. That's good, but it's also frustrating, I suppose. But we said this on the instant reaction, and how many times this season when we conceded one, we conceded a couple, or at least another one. There seems to be there's more steel about the mentality at the minute. It's not perfect, but there seems to be a bit more steel about us, that when we're under the cosh, they seem to just, I don't know, they just seem to believe in themselves a little bit. They seem to be believing in their own ability a bit more. And I think that's the one thing these players are missing. Just, you are good players, go and do it. And I felt that we saw that after their goal.
Yeah, I think the fact that we conceded it in such an unlucky circumstance as well, it was like they sort of looked at it and went, nah, actually we're better than these. We scored a quality goal, they scored a lucky one. So again, it just comes down to self-belief. We've harped on and on about how little confidence these teams had early doors, especially after conceding first. Whereas now, like you say, you put it perfectly, there's more steel about them, there's more confidence there in their own ability. And that seems to have appeared quite quickly since Richardson came in, in my opinion, at least anyway. And it's almost a self-belief of, actually, we can dig ourselves out of this situation. Like, I know it sounds a bad thing, like saying, we're only 8 points adrift. But there's still a lot of football to be played until then. And there's still some teams whose form isn't the best. But, we've won and drawn against two of the best teams in the Northeast, for one, and two teams that are up the top end of the table who probably came to Rotherham thinking, we'll blow these away. These are bottom of the league, don't matter. But I am liking this more steel-based Rotherham team now, because I'm not as worried when we go a goal down or concede. And I thought after we conceded, we looked the more likely to score after that as well. We had a fair amount of chances up the top end. We had a fairly decent shout for handball as well, but I think the jury's out on that one. It's 6-1 half dozen at other.
Eves could have given away a penalty. There was a handball from Eves, which maybe I could have seen them given.
Yeah, and I've seen him given. Well, not for us, but you've seen him given for other teams.
Yeah.
And then right at the last minute, there was the Revan chance where I think if he was a bit taller, he'd have connected with the ball.
Yeah.
But it also shows that we're going on until the end now. We don't just sort of.
We weren't accepting the point, were they? That point wasn't good enough. They were
we weren't accepting the point at all. Whereas before, we'd have pulled up on 70 minutes and played out for the draw. Whereas now it's like, actually, we can still win this game of football. And it's a completely different mentality, as if like we're going into games and we say, right, we are going to win this game of football over 90 minutes. You know, we're not just going to score a goal, sit on it, and no, we've conceded, play for the draw. It's like, actually, we've just conceded here, but we've still got X amount of time. We can still win it. And I like that mentality. It's more of a stereotypical Rotherham United mentality, I think. We sort of lost that mentality of never write Rotherham off, whereas now we've sort of got it back a little bit.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that comes from the manager as well, because you see those changes, the triple change he made. I know he couldn't make many defensive subs, but he made a triple change and brought on two strikers and a winger for two strikers and a fullback. But you know, he wasn't comfortable with just having a draw. He did want to go for the win, and I think that's what everyone wants to see. We've settled on too many draws this season where, maybe we've been lucky, but also we've played well in some of those draws and haven't deserved to lose. And I think that's the mentality that we should really kick out of our system.
Agreed. Richard Brown says he likes the new manager, and Mark Gamble says Richardson over Taylor. How anybody can think we were better off is beyond him. Yeah, I can't really argue with that. John wants to ask, did Joe play for Sunderland or was he benched? No, he played. He
didn't notice him, though.
Yeah, he could not.
He spent the evening in Hakeem Adoffin's pocket, to be honest with you. It was clearly a plan of us. Hacksman marked him and Joe barely got a touch, which was enjoyable, to be honest with you.
Bear in mind, you're 17, you know. That's
still enjoyable.
Yeah, not to jab at Joe Bellingham too much. I really don't like how he's got Job on his shirt and not Bellingham.
I understand why. I do agree.
Yeah, it's like you can sort of understand it with Spanish players more because that's more of in their culture to do something like that. But just to have Job on the back of his shirt, it's like, no, it's Bellingham, you know, and you know, anyway.
But the problem is, if it's Bellingham, there's only one in world football. There's only one Bellingham, isn't there? And that's Jude. That's the problem he's got.
But you see, that's like saying Harry Maguire's brother playing for whatever National League team it is. He still has Maguire on the back of his shirt, even though his brother plays for Man United.
Well, John says, and John's a bit more in the know, he says, yeah, he isn't his brother on or off the pitch. Let's say that. Let me tell you all you need to know, Danny, about this kind of, you know. John comes in with another good point, Tom. Can't really accept a point in your position. And that's right. I think that's one of the reasons we're all upset, because we didn't deserve to only get a point. But we were in such a low position in terms of where we were mentally as a fan base that all we asked for was a performance. All we asked for was to do those things that Danny just mentioned about the steel and the determination. That's all we were sort of asking for. Yeah. And we're getting it. And that's why we're all a bit more positive than we would have been had it been a crappy performance and then pick a point. There's real signs there for me, real signs.
Yeah, definitely. But that is true as well, that we can't really accept a draw. And yeah, it's completely right. I mean, earlier on in the season, you would have done absolutely, but it gets to a point now where it's 3 points, so we're still more adrift than we were previously. Matching teams above us doesn't matter anymore. We have to better teams. I mean, Wednesday won, as much of a spuzzy win it may have been. They still won, and they're getting further away from us. Huddersfield drew.
They lost to Borough.
Lost. Sorry, yeah, they lost. Yeah, it's just it is a matter of getting 3 points now, and that's why we went for it. And in a game like that where you thought we probably should have won, we're not really winning those games where we come out of it and think we should have won. But having said that, we weren't really coming out of games and thought, oh, we shouldn't have got anything from that, and actually have done. And that was the case with Borough, as much as people might want to say otherwise. Yeah, we definitely didn't deserve anything against Borough. So to get something against Sunderland, you can argue is justified through that means of logic. But I was really hoping for a win, and then it really spices up the Blackburn win for me, but not anymore, because obviously I'm still waiting on 3 wins and not in a row.
Yes, you are. Yeah, I was hoping we'd have you on. We could build up the Blackburn game even more. Really
Oh my God, it would have been insane. Watch along and everything.
Harry Kellett says, thought if Nombe scored that 1-1, I forgot about the 1-1 in the first half.
Yeah.
Different game, yeah.
I can't believe you forgot about
that was again a brilliant bit of link-up play, Danny. We're going back to the Hugo Nombe thing. That was a fantastic bit of play, and it was just on the wrong foot, Nombe. He's a striker, he's got to do better, but that was fantastic that those two were linking up and creating that chance.
Oh, yeah, it is. I mean, we always said that Hugo plays better when he's got sort of like the man behind him to help, but Hugo picked up that position as the man behind and played Nombe through. We an absolute brilliant through ball, by the way. But I personally, I don't think it's as much on Nombe as people think it is. It is actually really good defending from their play because he's pushed him wide.
Good keeper as well. Keeper stayed tall.
Yeah, and the keeper's made himself big as well. So it's like good defending and good keeper positioning. But you've seen him be scored. I think if anything, Nombe gets too much height on the ball. If he played it low, he could have got it under the keeper or played it high and gone over the keeper. But sort of gone in the middle and just sort of gone for power. But yeah, if that gets scored, completely different game, because then Sunderland are on the back foot even earlier, and we could have built up in the first half, but we didn't. But anyway, next time Nombe scores that, by the way.
Probably, yeah.
I think a player who scored 5 in his last 10 probably does score that. So it's a matter of confidence and sharpness. But it will come. Those goals will come. He's clearly quick enough to get away, which we've missed all season, really. Those kind of breakaways. So I'm confident. I don't think it's as bad a miss as we might first think. I know it's a 1-on-1, but they're not always easy to score.
I agree.
And having said that, the save he made Patterson make about 2 minutes afterwards from the resulting corner was a good effort. Yeah, it was a Victor-esque save, wasn't it? Which
it was.
I've heard this keeper's good, so
he's a young English keeper. They're very, very highly rated. I think Patterson, was it?
Yeah, Patterson.
Yeah, young English guy. So from our English point of view, hopefully he goes on to bigger and better things than the Championship. Let's talk about some individual performances. I mentioned a minute talk about Bellingham being in Hack's back pocket. Hacks was brilliant last night. I said to Mick, it was a Richard Wood kind of performance. It was right. I'm just going to go smash that ball. If I have to take that player out with it, I'm not really bothered. And that was, we've not seen that from Hacks before. So different against Bury was brilliant, but in a different way. But yeah, just a really enjoyable game from Hacks, and he man-marked Joe really, really well. It was, I just love him more and more every week, to be honest with you, Hacks. He's just brilliant for us. Everything he does is just brilliant so far. Yeah,
and he's really excelling at centre back, but it's tough to say where his best position is now, isn't it? Because we miss his threat in the other box now, which is weird to say. You wouldn't have thought that, but I mean, last time he played midfield was that Leeds game, wasn't it? So he scored. So he is one of the best finishers at the club, weirdly enough, and having him at centre back is obviously brilliant, but it feels like a bit of a waste when he's there. But needs must at the minute. So hopefully January brings us defenders. But he's fantastic. He covers the ground really well. He is technically okay. He's not fantastic on the ball. He's not woeful on the ball. He can give it and go kind of thing. But yeah, his long legs come from anywhere. He's got fantastic timing, great positioning. He's good in the air. He's got all the makings of a fantastic centre back. And if we had, more of a goal threat from midfield, Klukas, I'm going to count it as a one-off for now. It's just you have to play him centre back, which is a shame. It is a shame. But yeah, I think his pace is really helping at the minute at the back. We all know Dexter's not the best defender, and I think having them two side by side are really complementing each other quite well. Hax is covering for Lembekisa's wrongdoings, so to say, and Dex is able to be a bit more free attacking wise. Yeah, and they both did a good job on Clark. I know he scored, but he didn't really, did he? So
yeah, I mean, yeah. That brings on to the defensive situation. So Scott Kent says, will Ayala be out for God knows how long? How long will the Achilles tendon take? We need defenders ASAP. Yeah, the defenders were toting last night, Danny, to be fair. And as it turns out, Liam Hutchinson said in his post-match that it's a serious Achilles injury, or a serious injury, which is an Achilles injury from Daniel Ayala. I mean, to put it into perspective, Andre Green's out for a year with Achilles tendon issue. Whether it's the same, we obviously don't know. But it's not going to be fit for Blackburn game, Danny, is it? And that's a problem because Sean Morrison will have to play all 4 festive games, and I didn't think he's capable. His body's capable of doing it. He was really struggling against Sunderland towards the end. So we've got until the window properly opens, we've got issues.
Yeah, I mean he's been the same tune all season with us in centre halves, hasn't it? Though. But yeah, I mean, with the Ayala thing, I think he's on some sort of get paid as you play contract. I think, if not, and he's going to be out for the rest of the season, I think it might just be cut it and go potentially, which might limit us in other areas. But we just need to get something sorted. And I think, I mean, I've said it earlier in the podcast. But we need to have a focus on defenders primarily, which also plays into the whole thing of recalling Kioso because he can at least do a job as a centre half.
McCart as well. Nobody.
McCart as well. He might get recalled from Barnsley just to fill a void until we can get other people in.
He's gonna have to.
And he's doing quite well at Barnsley. I think they drew to all.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind him coming back. They rate him.
Yeah, so it's just like fill holes somewhere, whether it's new people or people getting recalled until Humphries is back up to speed and Blackett's back at some point, because then all the numbers start filling up a little bit. Yeah. But in terms of Ayala, if it's a season-ending thing, then it might just be time just to go, ta-ra, thanks for your efforts, because it's of no benefit to the club, which is like very cutthroat, but that's football, isn't it?
Yeah, there were rumours that Sean Morrison's was a heavy. John's right in the comments. Pay and play is not as it once was, but I think Matt Taylor suggested that the Sean Morrison contract was a basic wage, but a lot of it will be based on you get like a big bonus per game kind of thing. I'm hoping that Ayala's on the same type of contract. I'm desperate that Grant Hall's on the same kind of contract because those are two guys that we need to ship out, down it, Tom. And that feels really harsh because these are professional guys we're talking about, but they're not playing enough games for us. And when the window's properly open, you can spend a bit of money or get a young loan in or whatever else, bring Cursor back, bring McCart back, and start paying their full wages or whatever. We can't be carrying these dead weights. I can't think of a better word at the minute. At the minute, they're dead weights, aren't they?
Yeah, definitely. I'd rather a fully fit McCart for the whole season than a 4 or 5 game fit Hall. And there's just simple logic behind it. There's not really anything to say. They've not done anything wrong. They're not horrible people. They're just unfit, and it's life, I guess. It's their career. It's not anyone's fault. But if you want, we need to be a bit more cutthroat when we're at the bottom. Having luxury players we can't do really. You look at Sean Morrison was a gamble as well. He's managed to play most games this season and had to play most games this season, which is a gamble that's paid off in my opinion. He might not have been brilliant every game, but he's there. He's playing. Might have been injured for a part of the season, but he is, back and playing and playing well. To say, we've only got one fit centre back in the whole squad, and it's ridiculous. It really is. So bring back McCart, bring back Kioso, and bye Hall and Ayala. It's the only way to do it because, like you say, if it's an Achilles and if it's as serious as Andre Green's, then he's out not just for the season, but year to year. He won't be back in 2024, which is mental. He's not young either, so it's not like he's going to come back and be on top form. It's just it'd be time to cut throat and get rid, which is a shame for him, shame for us as well. I thought he was a good player. I know he did really two daft games, which really are inexcusable. But yeah, it is a shame. But there was a Richardson said that Humphreys is back on the grass training, which is positive. Sound like he's further ahead than most people thought. They don't want to push him, fair enough, but that's what, a month away maybe, which isn't great, obviously. But by then, hopefully you've brought in a few more defenders. Hopefully you've got Humphreys fit again, and then we're looking like we're at a better strength. We can push a Doffin back into midfield, and we'd look better. But yeah, you're right. Hall and Ayala, as much as they're people and need to support their families, unfortunately, you've got to be cutthroat at the bottom, and they, should be gone. We need those two spaces opened up now.
We do, and the good thing about the window opens up in 2 days now, Danny. The good thing about January is that there's not many league games. We've got Blackburn on the 1st. We've then got 3 other league games which are coming after that, which I think is Stoke, Middlesbrough, and Ipswich. The Ipswich game, if either us or Ipswich get through to the 4th round, that'll get postponed. So we could end up with only 3 games in January, 3 league games in January. And you're thinking that's great because Humphreys will be back maybe February at the latest, but is what we're all assuming. That allows you more training time on the pitch for Liam Richardson to get more ideas into the players. It allows you to either integrate Kyoso or sell him and bring in a replacement for Kyoso. It allows you so much more time. For us, where we are at right now, if we're winning game after game, I might not be saying this, but where we are right now, a 3 league game month could really, really play into our hands.
Yeah, I think. Well, you have to remember it's 4 league games and a cup game.
Well, I'll check who Ipswich have got, but the fourth round is the last weekend of January. So if either us or Ipswich get through to the 4th round, that Ipswich game won't be played.
So it's Blackburn, Fulham, Stoke, Middlesbrough,
Ipswich,
potentially Ipswich. So at most it's a 5-game month, but as a minimum it could be. Anyway, yeah, I'll agree with you and say it's giving Richardson key time on the training ground with the players to really instill his ideas because he's coming at a time where it's busy in December, and he's not really had a chance to really cement it down and have proper training sessions because there's always been like a midweek game to think about, or and then over Christmas and such, it's like it's not Saturday, Tuesday. It's a weird muddle of everything else. And like the New Year's games on a Monday as well. So it's all.
We played Friday.
Yeah, and then we played Friday, so it's all over the place. But it's sort of going back to a bit of normality, and it's also beneficial that it's the January transfer window, so he can bring in the players that he likes and the players that. I think will do the best jobs in the team that we've got, get a good look at Kyoso and McCart as well, and then decide what to do with them, whether it's more beneficial to keep hold of them or get rid of them again. Side note, how funny would it be if we brought Kyoso back, didn't really fit the mould, and we sold him to somebody other than Peter
Barnsley or something like
that? Yeah, send him and McCart back to Barnsley. That'd be right funny. But yeah, so it's just it's going to be a key month. I mean, I know we've said it so many times before, but this January feels even more crucial than ones before because it's a new manager, a new way of thinking with the team, basically bare bones with a lot of evaluating to do. I personally think we won't see too much early doors in January. I think the real movement will start after the Fulham game. I think that's when we'll start seeing a lot of movement.
Yeah, right.
Unless we've already got people tied up and then a bus turns up on the 1st, but we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, very, very, very crucial January. I think it's almost make or break. I think.
Well, I don't know because Didn't a reporter ask Richardson what are your January transfer plans? You know, are you in the process yet? And he was like, "Yeah, we were 3 weeks ago or whatever."
Yeah.
When that and it sounds like he's on top of it. So whether or not they come in instantly, I don't know. But it doesn't sound like they're going to be too far off. I don't think we're looking at middle of Jan before anyone comes. I mean, that might be they've decided 3 weeks ago who they want, and they've not got in touch with them yet, or whatever. But it sounds like pretty much that they have, or in touch with the clubs, or there's some sort of communication. That's at least my perspective on things, which is good. I think he needs his own players, doesn't he? He needs players that he can trust as well. Like he said in his interviews, he's known Klukas for 10 odd years, and clearly knows his game. That's maybe why he's had his best game yesterday. I think when he brings his own players in, similar to how Taylor did his last January, there was a clear bounce. There was a clear change in mentality. Hopefully we just get the same here, but hopefully this time we're a lot more resilient and we get 3 games win on the bounce.
Absolutely. I think the FA Cup weekend will delay because your Premier League teams won't let Aloni out because they'll probably use him in the FA Cup rounds. I think that will delay some, but hopefully I think we'll get some in before Fulham. Ipswich play Wimbledon in the 3rd round of the FA Cup, so there's a strong chance that Ipswich will get through that, which again is likely that Ipswich game will get postponed at the end of the month, but we'll find out in a week's time on that one. Let's move back to the game a minute, Danny. Let's talk about Sean Morrison because he is getting better and better by the week. Maybe it's a bit like Nombe and Hugo. He's just taking time to understand Adoffin's game because they again seem to be working really, really well together. He's definitely carrying some fitness issues, Sean Morrison. That's very obvious because the game's in short space of time. But we're almost getting the Sean Morrison we were promised at this point. He is becoming a leader on the pitch and becoming crucial to what we're trying to do. And if we keep him fit, it could be crucial in the comeback of trying to get close to staying up.
Yeah, I mean, Morrison was very unlucky last season only to get 2 games before going out injured again. I mean, he's not been completely fit the whole time this season either, but he's got a nice string of games going where he's not, at least as far as we know, not carrying an injury. And even with that makes you play with more confidence as well. And I think he's got that run of games, building on confidence, and he's getting better game by game. Of course, it would take a long time, A, rehab-wise, and B, to get back into the swing of things after his injury he got when he was at Cardiff before us, was it?
Yeah.
And maybe he's coming out of that rut now, you know, because he does seem to be growing game by game. All right, he still is blowing after 70, 75 minutes of intense football, but at the same time, I'm not worried that it'll really, really impact his game. Like, he's not going to pull up sharply and pull something in himself, you know.
There was that moment with Victor last night where I thought he'd injured himself.
Yeah, that's true. But
That scared me.
Yeah, it scared me as well. But yeah, Morrison's just getting better and better, and I think he will prove more beneficial than we gave him credit for earlier in the season. Now that he's got that string of games under his belt where nothing serious has happened.
Nick says he's got to disagree. Guy can't coordinate his feet. He's slow, doing okay and decent as a body and in the air, but can't run or kick a ball. That's why Haxer's alongside him.
And also Revan. I think Revan's been really good at that left centre-back position. He's clearly never played there before, which isn't a dig, but he's clearly an attacking, thinking fullback. So for him to be asked to play left centre-back is weird for him and probably not right for him either, but he's played superbly. He's defended really well. He's looks good on the ball. He comes out with it really well. We you know, I'm not saying that's where he should play all season. I'm not even saying that this should be the formation all season, but to say he's in there doing a job, he's been really, really good, really resilient, really just impressive. And I think both of them two beside him has made have made Morrison look like a good asset just because he is, you know, really good in the air, great organizer. Again, not brilliant with his feet, not the quickest, but Odoffin and Revan help him out there. There's a really good balance in that defensive line. And although that's not my ideal defensive line, I think it's anyone's, injuries permitting, it's it's doing okay. What clean sheet against Borough, one conceded
almost a clean sheet last night.
Yeah, basically a clean sheet. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, you know, we are limiting teams. I know Plymouth and Leicester scored 3 each. Leicester are always going to do well against us, and Plymouth, it was their first game playing together, and Ayala was in there, and it was a man sent off. Anyway, I'm getting off track. What I'm trying to say is
Ayala was in there, but then he wasn't.
Yeah, Ayala wanted to not be in there, basically. Yeah, it's a work in progress, and it's not my first choice back three, but I think they all complement each other really well. Revan's really good with his feet. Adoffin's physically very strong, and Morrison's a great leader and great in the air. So it's a complementary back three is all you can really say about it. If that's, I hope it changes. I'd like to see Revan where Bramall is currently. No offense to Bramall, but I don't think he's got that cutthroat final third delivery. And Odoffin, I think, is better as a centre mid. More effective as a centre mid, I should say. Not that he's a bad centre half, just more effective as a centre mid, tracking back and getting in the box.
Yeah, agreed. Anything else you want to pick out from the Sunderland game before we move ahead to look to Middlesbrough?
Yeah, would you start the same team against Middlesbrough? I know that's a bit of a Middlesbrough thing.
I don't know who. The only
change. Blackburn next, isn't it?
Blackburn.
Yeah, Blackburn. Yeah, I don't know why I said Borough.
I don't know who you could bring in. The only change you could bring in is Cafu, but I worry how long he's got in the tank.
I'd like to see him play more than he did against Sunderland. Whether or not that's 60 minutes and then he comes off, or whether it's he comes on at half time or after 60 minutes, I don't know. But I'd like to see more of him. I'd like to see him get integrated into the first team, the actual squad. Yeah, I don't know. I was just going to bring up the Eves comment because I think he's becoming a cult hero, which is great. And I think after his goal, I think everyone got a little bit too excited. But having said that, I think Hugo's fine. I think he's okay, but he doesn't quite. I think Nombe is really good at getting the flick-ons and challenging defenders and whatnot. And I don't think Hugo's quite got that domineering aspect about him with attackers. He doesn't win every ball in the air. He doesn't put himself about as much as someone like Eves or Kelly might. Not saying that that's what I'd do. I'd like to see one of them to start over Hugo and see how that dynamic works, but that might just be me.
No, I can see what you're saying. Also, it's potentially an issue from a fitness point of view because they've played this is the third game in quick succession. Well, this was the fourth game, in quick succession. They look tired against Middlesbrough. They look better against Sunderland. So I think was one of them going to look tired again.
I think that's another. Oh, go on. Sorry.
Obviously, I won't be against either any changes, but for me, it's fitness dependent for those. If Hugo needs a minute, bring Eves in. That's fine. But I'm happy with that. Yeah,
I think although we've not got a good depth at the minute, I think the players that we do have on the bench are like for the players that we do have in the squad. I.e., when he swaps Eves and Kelly for Nombe and Hugo, there's not too much of a difference. Obviously, we miss Nom's pace, but there's a case to say that the like-for-like switch between Hugo and or both of them, there isn't much of. So I'd personally do that. See for a change, see for a rest, whatever it may be. I'd just like to see it happen. Plus, as well, I again, not slating Hugo at all here. I think Kelly and Eves are both more goal scorers than Hugo is. I don't think he's quite a goal scorer. I think outside of the box, he's our best striker, easily outside of the box. But when you get inside the box, the miss against Plymouth, you think about a couple of chances last night where Eves and Kelly both had a better chance than Hugo. Is that because we created a better chance? I don't know. Maybe they're just in a better place at the time. I'd just like to see one of them two give it a go.
Yeah, what you're saying. A few stats on Blackburn. So, first of all, the referee is scheduled, I think, should be Gareth Gillett, who is the Australian referee, who is a Premier League referee. Always a concern when they come down from the Premier League. So we'll see how that goes. We're playing a team who are in a horrendous run of form. They have lost 6 of their last 7. Their only win in that time came at home to Bristol City. And if you look, they beat Birmingham 4-2. Birmingham a poor bit of form. They beat Stoke before they changed the manager. They're only beating teams that are sort of really struggling at the minute, Danny. So they're on the down, we're on the up. We crossed them on that sort of axis because they seem that's 6 losses out of 7 is a horrific run of form.
Yeah, it is. But at the same time, I mean, I'm normally the optimist, but I'm going to sound quite pessimistic with this. I think we aren't in enough of an upward trend at the minute to overcome Blackburn. I think I might be proved wrong here. I think it's going to be a draw, personally. Because like I say, 6 out of 7 is horrific form, and they've only really beaten teams who are, dropping down themselves, like Birmingham and Stoke, who are down there as well. The same Stoke team that have scored 10 goals against us already this season.
We're going to revenge against them next time.
Yeah, we'll have to see with that one. We'll just win it 1-0 anyway. So yeah, I mean, they'll look at Rotherham as potentially an improvement game, I think. That is for sure, because they'll look at our away form and go, right, we need to put a shift in against these because effectively we can't be losing to them.
Yeah.
But I personally think it'll be like the Birmingham game. I think it'll be like 0-0 potentially.
Their only draw this season was against us, Danny. That 2-2.
Yeah, it'll be a draw again. We'll be that strange anomaly for Blackburn. Like, we are the only team that they draw against.
Yeah, quite possibly. They have a struggle at home. Well, struggle. They got the same amount of points as us at home this season. They conceded quite a lot. They conceded 12 goals in the last 4 or 5 games.
Wow.
I don't know, Tom. I'm quite positive about this, to be honest with you. I feel like we're playing a team at the right time. May not pan out that way, but if you could attack these and get the crowd on their back, like we did with Sunderland early in the season, like we did a little bit with Plymouth, we went 1-0 up, you can really sort of hurt these teams and get under them, and you can get at these guys.
Yeah, definitely seems to be as well that their manager is under the cosh and he seems to not be dealing with the pressure well. I think they're not playing well, and I think they're all turning to their manager and he's not got any answer. And I think that's worrying a lot of Blackburn fans. They don't seem confident in the slightest. Having said that, you're saying that they're conceding a lot of goals. Yeah, fair enough. But we, number one, don't score many, and number two, they have got special players who are going to do, who have that moment of quality that maybe we can see with Klukas and Cafu, maybe, but that's Schmodix, is it? He was
still there, yeah.
Top scorer for however long in the Championship. He's clearly a player with an eye for goal, and you wouldn't back him not scoring against us just for the sake of it. Yeah, like he scored 2 last time, didn't he? But yeah, it's going to be a really weird game. I agree with Danny. I think it'll be quite like the Birmingham game. But I'm going to say that we actually do it this time and we actually see the job through. We've been scoring first in a lot of games recently and not really doing much with that. I'm going to say that we do. I'm going to say that we kick on as well. 2-0, 2-1, something like that. But we actually do something with these starting games off really well and scoring first and not going anywhere with it. I think that's going to change at some point. So but like I said, they've always got a goal with Schmodix because he is a quality player who can hurt you if you give him time and space, which is it's a Jack Clark situation again. One-man team.
True. The only team that have conceded more than Blackburn this season is us.
Yeah, cool.
Jesus.
Sounds about right. But have they had one?
So it's legit going to be a 0-0 draw, isn't it?
Yeah, literally screaming 0-0. But have they had one fit centre back all season? That's the question.
True. Exactly. That's exactly the question. The thing is that if you look at our performances, like no Leicester performance, if we play like we did against Plymouth, we're going to win this game. And now that's really similar to it, but we were brilliant against them. And Blackburn, for me, don't have the same way of playing that Plymouth do. I think Plymouth, if you go at Plymouth, they'll come back at you, no matter the circumstances, because they're new to this division. They've got all these other things that for that reason. I think Blackburn, if you go at them and get an early goal, I just can't see them coming back. They have got the X factor, they've got Smodics, they have got that, but he still needs help. He still needs people to push forward. And I think if we just see that performance, we might not, but if we see that performance again, I think we'll win.
Yeah, I mean, I won't quite go as far to say that Blackburn are a one-man band, but the way they've been certainly approaching games and the noise that other teams are making, you would argue that Smodric is one of the few good ones at the moment anyway, like the one who keeps kicking the can down the road for Blackburn in terms of keeping them at least in somewhat of a healthy position in the league.
Where are they in the league? Does anyone
15th,
know?
I think.
15.
So safe.
Yeah, fairly healthy. But again, you could say with Sunderland that Joe Bellingham was a serious threat, and we nullified that. So is it a case of next man up, keep your eye on Smodric? Yeah, like next man up, keep your eye on Smodric, keep him quiet, and potentially getting at Blackburn that way. They definitely got lucky with it being 2-2 at our place, I think, because Smodric shouldn't have been on the pitch, but we'll not dwell on that. But I can
feel Mick raging from where.
Yeah. Hello, Mick. hello, Mick. I hope you're not driving listening to this. But yeah, I'm still going to stick with my 0-0. But I have just seen Nick's comment, and it could be 5-5. It's like, yeah, that is the vibe I'm getting from this. I'm not as confident as you two are, I don't think.
We're away. That's a big issue.
Yeah, exactly.
If we were at home, I'd really back us. Really, really back us. But the fact that we're away really hinders any kind of opportunity. But having said that, it's got to change at some point, doesn't it? So
yeah. What's it be the most Rotherham United thing that we end up putting 5 past a team for the first time this season and still don't win?
Yeah, that's fair actually. Let's go predictions. I'm going to go win. We're going to win, and I can have a shave tomorrow night. New Year's Day night. Sorry,
Matt, is your shaving based purely on away wins then, and not home wins?
Right. Away wins.
My
stupidly. God. Almost as stupid as Tom's bet for 3 wins in a row. I'm not sure which is the stupidest bet.
Mine easily. I have to pay money.
True.
You can just Gandalf for a couple months.
No, we're gonna win. We're gonna win 2-0. Do I think we're gonna keep a clean sheet? Yeah, I do. That was the last few games. 2-0. Danny, 0-0.
Yeah, 0-0.
Tom, what do you reckon?
Mine was 2-0, but I'm going to say 2-1 now, just to be different.
Yeah, like clean sheet. I'm worried that we won't keep a clean sheet. To be honest with you.
Well, yeah.
Ben sat down next to me yesterday at football that why can't we just win 2-0? A really boring 2-0, easy 2-0 victory.
Not wrong.
So I think we're going to get one on Monday. Nick thinks we're going to win 2-0. Kim who says 1-0. Richard Brown asks, is the beard itchy? No, really. It's annoying. But it's not itchy.
For you or your wife, Matt?
I think she thought she liked a beard on me, and then this obviously started going on. She's just a fan anymore. The marriage isn't at risk yet, but come May, if we still haven't won, I think there might be a danger.
Yeah. Come on, Richardson, we've got a marriage on the line. We need to be winning these games.
The coach says 1-0 to that. John Morell says, screw boring, I'd take any kind of win. After Rooney's sacked for them, for Birmingham, obviously. Scott Kent says 2-0 to the Millers, positivity. Right, we're going to end the final show of the year. So we're going to go through just very, very, very briefly our highlights from the year. I think it's very easy to say survival because that was a day and a half. One of my highlights for the year is almost a year ago, the Blackburn 4-0. Just after a poor run of results, you just felt like it was just the world was bright again, and that's pathetic because it's only football. But that was such a moment for us, and without that, we'd have gone down. I think we really needed a performance like that and a result like that.
Yeah.
There's not many from this season, so they're all probably from last season, last year. But yeah, I'm going to go 4-0. So that might be an easy pick. But Tom, highlight of the year.
Oh, I was going to say Blackburn. It's tough because there isn't many, is there?
No.
You know, one that really sealed it for me, and ironically is against who we played yesterday. I think that Sunderland 2-1 victory really kind of sealed the hope that we might stay up. There's a couple. There was the QPR game, the West Brom game. A couple of them really good, but I think that Sunderland game it was the first game last season that truly gave me hope that we would stay up. And I think having then done that, I think makes it even better, even sweeter. It was 2 fantastic goals from Ollie and Fergie. May he, hopefully come back, because God knows what's happening with him at the minute. It wasn't a great game from what I remember. I don't remember too much from it. I can't remember that goal. I just remember that Gelhardt scored. But I just remember the feeling afterwards of just relief, and it was a kind of it was a victory that really meant a lot to the whole squad as well. And you could see that there's a couple, like I said, a couple games last season where you could see that West Brom, QPR, etc., where there was a bit of a more of a together spirit. But yeah, it was it's been a bleak season when you look back at it. Bleak year, but it's had its moments for sure.
As Nick says, West Brom turnaround and Hugo giving it large. That was a good day. It was a very good day. Danny, footballing highlight?
Does it have to be a Rotherham United footballing highlight?
No, if you've got another footballing highlight. Oh,
Hammerby against the Garden when that one. That is far and away my footballing highlight, and the fact that I predicted it to be 4-3 before the game, and everybody went, no, Hammerby might win 1-0 or Djurgården might win 2-0. I think it's going to be nuts. It's going to be 4-3. That is far and away my footballing highlight of the year.
Yeah, that was special. Go to Sweden and watch football. It's great. Football's terrible. I would recommend the atmosphere and everything like that. We had a good year for the podcast. We spoke to Matt Taylor this year, which was great. All three of us were on that. Matt Taylor's a lovely guy to speak to. Sure, it didn't work out, but he was great to speak to. We spoke to Hacks as well this year. Me and Danny spoke to Ollie. Do you remember speaking to Rathbone? That was this year, Danny. What about February?
Yeah. My one regret of this year is not being able to talk to a dolphin with you guys.
I know. You said you had to work, didn't you?
Yeah, you sent in them 2 questions that you only answered 1 to.
Yes, you did. Yeah.
So if Fax is listening, you better answer that second one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I brought him outside New York Stadium after we've won another game going, where's my second answer, a dolphin?
Yeah.
No, he's a lovely guy. Never mind.
Kim Hayward and Nick, any chance of getting Liam Richardson? We will ask the question.
Tom Eves as well.
He's asked a question about Eves.
Gaggins will be on a podcast, isn't he?
Yeah. I really can't say much though, until he leaves the club and retires. He can't slag off whoever he clearly wanted to slag off in that interview.
We need to pitch it to the club as Tom Eves Uncensored, so they know what we're getting into.
Fair enough. Well, what if he needs that manager in future?
That's his choice.
True. Very, very true. Right. We will end there. Thank you all for being with us tonight and throughout the last 12 months. Numbers have shot up. I'm going to put a tweet out tomorrow about some highlights throughout the year. So keep an eye out for some, I think, fun videos. Please have a lovely new year. We'll be back probably Thursday. I think we'll go back to normal schedule, back Thursday to review the Blackburn game and look ahead to the FA Cup. FA Cup third round tie at Fulham on Friday night, which will be fun. yeah, thank you, everybody. It's been fun. Tom, thank you very much. Appreciate you being here on New Year's Eve.
Yeah, thank you. I think this is my first proper year with everyone here, so I just want to say thank you for that as well. Yeah, it's been good fun. Hopefully 2024 brings better things, but we can all hope.
Yeah, with some happier things to talk about rather than consecutive things and stuff like that. That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Never
had the joys of the League One victories constantly.
Exactly. We were doing that set of 21 on game unbeaten run. We should have bottled that and just kept it so we could be happy every so often.
Yeah.
We didn't know what we had when we had it, did we?
No.
Danny, pleasure, mate, as always, and thank you for being with us this past 12 months as well.
Yeah, no worries. It's been a up and down 12 months, but we got through it in the end, didn't we, lads?
We did eventually. So thank you all the guests to be with us. Obviously, Mick's not here, but we've had Joy, Kev, Dylan, Will, Lewis. I'm almost certain I'm forgetting somebody, but thank you everybody who's been on the podcast. All the other content creators we're doing. I did put the tweet out again today, but all the content creators that helped us, the opposition reports and all that kind of thing. We've had some good fun for like Tom says, a tough year in terms of football. We have actually had some good fun on this podcast, I think. Danny eating some surströmming. I can't believe Danny's high. It wasn't the surströmming in Sweden, the rotten fish. Well, that's a life.
It's not football related.
Yeah.
Well, all right, podcast related. Yeah. We'll end it there. Thank you, everybody. Everybody has a lovely New Year's Eve. If you're doing anything, if you're not doing anything, it'll be lovely and quiet for you.
I'm working. Working until 2:00 in the morning, New Year's Day. Lovely.
Danny will be very tired on New Year's Day.
I don't mind. I get a drink at midnight as well, so happy days.
Yeah, do. Thank you all. See you next year. Have a good one, and up the Millers, guys.
Up the Millers.
Up the Millers.
It's a Wales through a goal, slots it beyond Foderingham, and the Millers are in front in the South Yorkshire derby. And for the first time in 42 years, Rotherham United win at Bramall Lane. On the edge of the box for Doffin, he can hit them, and he does. Doffin has scored an absolute screamer for Rotherham United. Rotherham United have secured their championship status for next season.